Jay-Z, you're just like Diddy. I can't stand your arrogant, condescending attitude. Nicki posted a video of you wearing a pink wig, and I retweeted it. Nothing more. You deserved it. Everyone knows about our feud. It's been going on for over 20 years. I've seen all your manipulation in the industry, from power struggles to cultural control. In 2015, when Tidal launched, Nicki helped you build it from nobody to a successful platform, and you immediately pocketed her $7.9 million in royalties. Lil Wayne was qualified for the Super Bowl, but you kicked him out of personal grudges. How is that any different from Diddy forcing his artists to sign unfair contracts? Just because Nicki didn't align with him, he resorts to this kind of suppression. You're truly despicable. What's even more interesting is that right after I showed him and his father's photo in the documentary Sean Combs: The Reckoning, you immediately had your lawyer send me a warning letter saying I overstepped my bounds. When you wrote the lyrics to exonerate Diddy back then, why didn't you think about today? You say the film is malicious slander, but why don't you dare sue me for defamation? Because all the evidence I have is true. I haven't finished reporting the witnesses in my documentary, and I haven't released all the Tidal profit sharing documents. If you know what's good for you, pay back what you owe Nicki with interest. Don't wait until I make Jay-Z Reckoning 2, by which time even Beyonce's PR team won't be able to save you.
Jay goes, let's get it straight. Nobody's afraid of 50 Cent.
I want everyone to be clear. No one's scared of 50 Cent.
But at that point, his safe presentation, even the glasses, what the glasses represent? Intelligence, right? A nerd, maybe? What are some of the things that come along with you being a nerd? Like, don't hit a guy with fly. He's not identifying with the transition and difference in the perception of Jay-Z. Now he's really safe, and people feel comfortable with him because they know he's not going to do anything inappropriate or try not to. Meanwhile, when he's saying he's not afraid of 50 Cent, why would you have to make that clear when no one's ever asked me if I'm afraid of Jay?
For years, the tension between 50 Cent and Jay-Z existed beneath the surface of hip-hop culture, discussed quietly but rarely addressed directly. Now, this documentary transforms years of speculation into a structured narrative, examining how two of rap's most influential figures climbed to the top through completely different philosophies. One built his image on confrontation, transparency, and fearless public challenges. The other mastered calculated moves, restraint, and strategic influence behind the scenes. Their long-standing rivalry opens a larger conversation about how power truly operates in the music industry. Does influence belong to the outspoken disruptor willing to challenge the system publicly, or to the strategist who moves silently while shaping outcomes from the shadows? And if real authority thrives away from public view, how much of hip-hop history has been shaped by design rather than coincidence?
Jay and Puffy is close, even though Jay's lawyer came out and said they're not.
Because Jay-Z and Puff was given an assignment, and that was to destroy East Coast rap. And what I mean by that, and I know people gonna like, yo, Gene is out of his mind and everything like that. Check this out, brother. Is that New York rappers was getting 800 to 1.2 million, or some larger than that, and sign with labels back then. And they was getting a lot of money to make albums and records. When they had guys down south that these labels was paying $250,000, $300,000 on record deals, and these guys was bringing back platinum albums and everything like that. So what they had to do was they had to keep New York rappers down. That's one reason, other than the Irv Gotti shit that 50 was going through and the poison they was putting in about 50, he had to go elsewhere to California, or with Jay and not with Dre and Eminem to get a deal. They did not want East Coast rappers to get big. They were suppressing all new artists that was coming out of New York. Jay and Diddy was doing that. That's why when I heard your story, because I knew this for a long time, but when I heard Dame Dash that Jay wouldn't sign off on nothing, Jay wouldn't do this and Jay would that, because he couldn't let a Cameron blow up. He couldn't let an East Coast rapper like Beanie Siegel blow up. Because him and Diddy was giving that deal, we got to keep these East Coast rappers down. Because down south rappers, Cash Money, No Limit, Ludacris now, they was taking little money and bringing back more money and making more money for them. So the record labels, I wouldn't say they was going to lose off the East Coast.
During the height of the physical album era, release dates were never just scheduling decisions. Timing itself became a weapon, and major releases rarely collided by accident. Behind every chart battle existed strategy, positioning, and industry influence carefully working in the background.
Look, when Jay signed his contract, the big one was with Beyonce. When he signed that contract, the marriage contract, he got trophies. Now those fucking trophies, trophies came rolling in, buddy. He started getting Grammys left and right, man. I mean, look, if you look at his career,
You're gonna let him say that? Jay was getting Grammys.
He had one.
Exactly.
He had one.
And he ain't show up.
He had like 20 now.
Hold on.
He had like 18 since he been down. Look, he had one, bro. Hard Knock Life.
You're not wrong.
At the same time, he got them shits. He's like drinking. His pictures with him like fucking things the cup.
Wait a minute. So you're saying the success is derived from the marriage?
I've absolutely been treated differently.
The accolades. Because he's no longer viewed as what, like a street or gangster rapper. Now he's viewed as a businessman, entrepreneur, family man.
And the biggest ones because of the position Beyonce's.
Oh, wow.
Right? You were connected to the biggest.
Jay got it for the music. Jay got it for the music.
You didn't see.
He deserved those.
I'm sitting there, he was like this, like Black Excellence. They're sitting there like, yeah. It's a billionaire brunch. Like,
I hate you, man.
Unaware of anything going on here. This is the one time I'm gonna be with you niggas this year. Yeah. Come on, bro.
That's
crazy.
He's just looking at his watch during the whole Rock Nation break. Like, is it 3:30?
Yeah, it's almost time to get out. Yo, I feel like I'm normal again. Get me out of here.
Oh wow! So that's the deal he signed, huh?
Yeah, that's the deal. Like the other ones didn't count as much as that one did.
Artists who have worked alongside 50 Cent frequently describe him as direct, accessible, and deeply involved with the people around him. He is often portrayed as someone who stays connected to his circle and actively participates in the process. Jay-Z, by contrast, is commonly viewed as distant and highly protected, operating through layers of influence that create an image of untouchable authority. These opposing styles reflect two entirely different models of leadership within hip-hop, one built on visibility and personal connection, the other rooted in hierarchy, calculated control, and strategic separation. Together, they raise a larger question about which approach truly inspires loyalty and which simply commands obedience. Gets through.
I said, Dame, are you all right? Do you need anything? None of the people that have vocalized that another man, and to me, again, that whole conversation has been feminine. But if you're going to say some shit like that, you should have actually done something to help the problem. But I never got the call from Ray saying, do you need anything? And anyone else that I've ever given, paid a bill, paid their rent, paid their college, any dollar, not one person, and I don't want them to, because they know I'm all right. But not one person has called and said, yo, could I send you something to help? But I don't need the help. But if you're going to talk about it, be about it. But to me, that's just a jab when you tell and promote a false narrative and say that I'm in such a bad place that another dude should help me. And that my tail's in between my legs to the extent, because of a lawsuit, that I would actually take that money. I'm a man. I don't want nobody to give me nothing but the opportunity to do what I got to do. And I don't see no opportunity. I don't want to perform for the Super Bowl. I'm not all right with the NFL. I'm still mad it ain't no black owners. We went from kneeling to being happy when we could perform for them. That wasn't what I was about. I was about ownership of our own league and taking pride in that. I'm not a court jester for everybody else to get good ratings. I know what we're being used for, and I'm not cool with that. So it's a big deal is to jump on a stage for a bunch of white owners? No, that's embarrassing to me. It's a spectacle. They're laughing at us. Like being tatted on the back by another culture is not how I judge my success. Only person that has the audacity to pat me on my back is my family. And they better, I'd be like, you better chill out. I don't want no pats on the back. I don't play that. I'm not in the patty pat club. On no level.
I feel you. But speaking of the NFL, I know right now Nicki Minaj, she calling out Jay, and I know Colin Kaepernick's wife, she called out Jay, saying that, Jay did her husband wrong. But I don't know. I don't know the backstory behind that, man. But I know it's going, viral right now on social media. But I do want to ask you, how do you feel about the NFL right now, in general?
It's funny. She's cool with my wife, Rocky.
These reputations represent two competing visions of leadership in hip-hop culture. One depends on closeness, visibility, and shared experience with the people around you. The other relies on mystique, distance, and the power created by perception itself. In a genre born from struggle, authenticity, and community, this contrast pushes a deeper conversation about respect and loyalty. Does lasting influence come from standing beside people through every stage of the journey, or from remaining elevated above them, protected by status and silence?
Because you don't got nothing.
I don't have it. There's no girls gonna come out.
Why you sound skeptical?
Because I think there are some women that are like, I think there's some women that are like,
that's supposed to be from Queens.
Let me go
fucked up experience.
You take him off the corner one time.
What I'm saying is I know a couple of extras that fucking throw me under the bus.
You should let him have the corner. None of this would have happened if you let him have the corner.
You know there's some like opportunists. They'll just throw out the fucking.
But that's what I'm saying. You had to have something. Look, if you already interacted with the person, right, and you hadn't had a bad experience, it would take more for them to say some of the shit that you see these people say. Right? Like you go, what made you do? What made you? Even when we part ways, and because a lot of times when we interact with people, they're not just having fun for tonight. They think we're leading into this hardcore relationship that may not materialize. Right. So I see what you're saying, where they can look and go, well, look, you met the girl in 2003. You hung out with her. You had a good time after the show with 30 girls there. You just went and y'all hung out, right? And y'all just part ways. Right? So there's no negative things between it. But she can look up at the TV now, and you've been a success since then. Feel like that's my life. I was supposed to be there, and be upset with you and say something. But will it have any merit to it?
If I gotta keep
that
it real,
woman hasn't been in my.
You ain't always have the most amicable breakups. You remember where I think it's your baby moms, where it's like she was kind of speaking out, and then all of a sudden the house just got burnt down.
But it happens. Left eye. She burned the house down.
This nigga is crazy. That's what I was saying.
No, my God, he goes, wow. So I know how you feel about me now. No, he's going. He's great. So he saw me like the man.
I want my block back.
He goes, look, I have faith in not to trust you.
I'm a civilian now.
There would be consequences connected to those behaviors and actions that this brother is talking about.
Oh my goodness, man.
Why is that a part of his thought process today while we're here having a good time?
That's a good ass point.
Look, you do have people that really, look, when you break up with them, they don't care about you anymore. So they'll say things and you go, but it doesn't hold merit. It doesn't have any real.
Yeah, of course. After all these years, and you don't see nothing.
The girl that's just upset with you. She's just angry with you. She got and you go.
Jay-Z's partnership with Beyoncé blurred the line between personal connection and strategic expansion, creating a union that combined image, influence, and cultural reach on a massive scale. Critics argue that the relationship strengthened his public legitimacy while helping transform both figures into a larger, nearly untouchable brand. From that perspective, the partnership is viewed not only as romance, but also as a powerful alignment that expanded visibility, credibility, and long-term influence throughout the entertainment industry.
I thought the smartest thing Jay said in the statement was, if you really believe this happened, then press criminal charges. He said, pull up.
But I don't think that was.
Tell me.
Okay, look. Because of the statute of limitation, there is.
There is no criminal. So it's a.
So making a statement is to make people feel like.
But apparently, if she's under 18, didn't you say it still could be criminal? Yeah. He knows he's fed.
He used to be a cop. So you turned him into a cop. He used to sell drugs and then he became a police officer. Did you know that?
You said how to rob. Glorified security.
You know what he would do? When they would arrest G-Unit guys, he would be like, yes. And he was in the court.
Every time.
I was actually the cool one. I'll give you the extra fucking cheese sandwiches and stuff like that. I'll be looking out.
Take care of the family.
Yeah. Hey, you know, I don't know, man. I think what's the name? I get confused too. When you look at this shit, it's a lot. It's a lot of confusing information, right? But I think when you do point out that, why didn't you file criminal case? Because you can't. It's over 20 years old. This is 2000, bro.
I think if it's a minor,
when they're saying this is happening, I'm not even 50 Cent yet.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
You see what I'm saying? Like this is that far back.
Yeah.
So it's like it didn't even take place at that point. So I'm like...
Supporters, however, see the relationship as a genuine evolution between two artists growing together through fame and success. Yet regardless of interpretation, the partnership demonstrates how carefully modern legacy is constructed. When personal relationships become inseparable from branding and public identity, the distinction between authenticity and strategy becomes increasingly difficult to define. And once love, influence, and image merge so completely, the public is left wondering where genuine connection ends and calculated presentation begins.
I'm saying, Sean Carter, you're a piece of shit. Taking Pimp C wasn't bad enough.
Real life. It ain't real life. Just say. Real life street star. Know what time it is.
So why does it all come to a head now? Why now? Why?
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time. Like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
So who's next?
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. Why is everyone having such a hard time? He ain't doing shit different. He lined up D-Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one.
And shout out D-Haven. He actually hit us up, wanted to tell this story.
You need to talk to D-Haven.
We need to talk to him.
I told you that last year when I put you on the phone with him.
You did.
I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up Beyonce, who was struggling. Let's just say allegedly that happened. Now I want you to think about 106th and Park with Mary J. Blige. Free, who is a victim of Sean Carter.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, who is a victim of Sean Combs, are sitting there talking about the death of Aaliyah amongst each other.
As older controversies resurface alongside new legal accusations, attention shifts away from dominance and toward accountability. This documentary avoids delivering final judgments, but it directly questions the systems that protect influence and shield powerful figures from scrutiny. Fame magnifies both achievement. T in controversy, and when serious allegations emerge years later, they challenge more than individual reputations. They challenge the integrity of the industry itself. The deeper issue becomes whether an environment built on silence, loyalty, and protection is truly willing to confront uncomfortable questions honestly.
You knew Jay personally, right?
Know him, been around him a couple of times, bro. Been around him a few times, but I didn't know him. Know him as I'm sitting down and I'm breaking bread, eating off, eating a meal around him and shit like that, laughing, talking and joking like that. I've been around Jay-Z, and one time I wanted to knock his head off, because he was being disrespectful, but he didn't know he was being disrespectful because he ain't that type of dude. You understand what I'm saying?
What happened?
We was in Cancun, and he had a personal assistant from my block named Laura, and he had brought like 3 people to the club. He had brought like 6 people to the club with him, and he was only supposed to get 3 people in. I was running the door at Daddy-O's from Industry Entertainment. They just told me Jay-Z only get 3 people in. You understand? So I'm at the door. I said, yo, Jay, you good? And 3 of your others good, but the other 3 got to pay. So then he said, Laura, handle him. And at that time, the type of dude I was, you couldn't tell no woman to handle me. You understand? When I'm talking to you as a man. So then I said, who you talking to like that? You telling her to handle me? You understand? And then me and him, he didn't say nothing. He just turned to the side. And if he'd have turned back around, he'd have got his head knocked off. But Laura told me, yo, Gene, please, Gene, you gonna make me lose my job. You know what I'm saying? And because 1, she was beautiful. 2, she from our block. You understand? I wasn't gonna do that to her. You understand? So I gathered myself, stepped away from the situation, and then the promoter said Jay can let his people come in. You know what I'm saying? But he was being disrespectful. This is the same dude that Harlem cats used to laugh at and joke at. Even we was out there that time, he came to Cancun and he had a fake Versace shirt on, and they was ripping him. I mean, they was ripping him. I know he's a billionaire now. He can wear whatever he got. He got $10 million watches and shit like that. But we talking about back then. You understand? We still have those stories from back then. And it's good that a brother can uplift himself. And that's why he's the type of person that he is. Because he knew how guys used to treat him. That's why you could see him trying to sun people based on somebody who get in that type of situation. You understand? This dude had the same cream deli silk shirt that I had. Now, cream deli cream shirts were fake printed Versace shirts. They were nice. You pay $45 for them, but you can't wear that around Harlem cats. You understand what I'm saying? Not if you in the rap industry. At that time, they used to have diamond testers. You understand? They'll roll up on the cat, and if your diamond don't beat, you understand? They'll talk about you. Snatch your chain off or whatever like that. So he had the fake cream deli cream shirt on, and they was roasting him. I think I seen him in a black t-shirt from that point on in Cancun the whole time he was there. Yo, let me just tell you something. When dudes from Harlem got something on you, bro, and they joking you, they at it. They gonna stop until somebody with some power or somebody with some money say, yo, get that dude a break. Give him a break. So Dame probably used to let him get him in a little bit, but then when Dame was like, yo, my man, let my man live. Let him live. They probably back up off of him or stuff like that. But they was joking, they was talking and stuff like that. And cause you just don't do that. You don't come to no major event with nothing fake or phony on. Not at all. Unless the only way you could get away with something fake or phony on, if it was Dapper Dan. If it was a Dapper Dan special, you good.
In the end, 50 Cent presents himself as a challenge to a culture shaped by silence and quiet compliance. He portrays restraint not as neutrality, but as survival within a system that rewards silence and discourages open opposition. By speaking publicly, he positions himself as one of the few figures willing to confront powerful institutions directly. In doing so, he highlights an industry where silence often carries more value than truth itself. And that leaves one final question hanging over everything. In a business built on expression, influence, and voice, why do so many remain afraid to speak openly?
If it wasn't Dapper Dan, nah, you couldn't do that, bruh. Not at all. Should have known better, but he was from Brooklyn.
But from what you know about Jay, do you believe he's capable of doing what he's being accused of?
What I know and of Jay, and what have I heard of Jay, I want to say this to protect myself, that there's stories of Jay talking to underage girls. It was a girl from my block that was 16, 17 years old that Jay was talking to. If she was 17. So there's plenty of stories out there that they might flood the market of Jay talking to underage girls. I heard this kid that is claiming to be his son. His mother was 15 when she conceived him and had him at 16. And Jay refused to do a blood test or anything like that. And all of a sudden, when this has gotten real big and Tony Bugsby had taken the kid's case, the kid just got arrested for having a gun in his car, I think, like that. Did you hear something about that? That the kid got arrested for having a gun in his car, and when they go and watch the tape, somebody was planting a gun in the kid's car. Now the kid who never been in trouble to that degree, and now he's facing a case for a gun case for having a loaded firearm in his car. So, answer your question. There's plenty of stories. Ain't Beyonce one of those stories? Isn't Foxy Brown one of those stories? Isn't that kid mother one of his stories? There's a lot of stories, bro. So that's what I say about it.